Hey people, I'm Ashish Malla and today we will be discussing about GIT from a casino manager's perspective. Let's GIT Spin Go. So what is GIT? A GIT is a version control system. Oh, then Ashish, what is version control system? Version control system, by the name suggests, it's a controlling mechanism for different versions of different files. You will be seeing this in action in Google Docs, Canva, and many more applications. Okay, but how does it work? Imagine you are a content specialist or content uh, person in your team and you are editing a photo or a video. And let's say it is a video and you got all those files and you made one version. But then your friend says, Ashish, maybe this can be better. And you change a different version and make it a final, and then a different person comes and changes it, and you be like, okay, this is the final, this is among your friends. But once you send it to your boss or like a president or someone, they be like, I think if we add something in between this frame and this frame, it would be better. And so you have to make the change, and when you make the change, it becomes a new version. But they don't like it after that has been added, just like you imagine. So you want to get back to the old version. But what if you already delete it? Or even if you don't delete, what happens when you maintain all this multiple bunch of files? It will get cluttered, it will be very confusing, and it occupies too much space in your system. So what can be done? If you just maintain what are the changes that has been done, it will be easier for compilation and all when it comes to video files. In the same regards, when it comes to coding, if you maintain multiple versions, then if you just realize what are the changes that has to be made between different versions, the data will be less and you can easily switch between multiple versions of it. And if you have multiple versions that you want to showcase to a superior, it can also be done. And all this comes under version control system. And Git is one such version control system that is used popularly around the world. And what is repository? In terms of sorry, my bad. In terms of Git, a repository is a folder with Git initialized on it as a tool so that it can track all the changes of different versions of the code that you are maintaining. And it is often called a repo. So it is just a folder with an internal database for Git to understand how it works and how it should be continuing. Okay, next is what is remote? So imagine you are working in a big organization where you have a production level application which will be used by thousands and millions of customers around the world, and you want to make a small fix in your application. Let's say your company logo just changed, so you just want to fix it, or you just want to change small amount of code. If you do it directly and by mistake there has been an issue, then the whole production will get an issue, or someone who is allowing want to see the code will also not understand the new changes. So what is the principle that these big companies and even the small people follow is maintaining one central repo and cloning it in your local repository, like local system, and working on top of it instead of working directly. And if it works properly, then you will push these changes to the central repository. You will pull when you want to do some change and push when you made all a change and tested it and it is working to the central repository. So it will maintain the security and it will not lead to any downtimes and all. And this is done by the remote repository, which is the origin version of your code base. And it is generally deployed on a internet or a network, generally by GitHub, GitLab, and Bitbucket, but not the only these things. But you can also find different version control system providers and maintainers. And by this, it allows you to collaborate with others and maintain multiple versions at the same time. Oh no. Okay, so now let's come back to the main topic. You are a casino manager and you want to create a slot machine and deploy, like, have a slot machine in your casino. So for that, you were like, okay, I want someone who is good with building the tool, but most of the people who might be building will not be good with design. So you want someone like architecture person who is like UI UX guy or a front end person in the coding world. And you want someone who will be managing these people about the project and deadlines. So you can be the project manager yourself or you can also hire someone else. So you created like, okay, this is the toolkit or this is the place where you will be creating this one and keeping it. Let's say it is a code file. So you are like, okay, call your back end person and front end person and gave them work. You have to create the logic, you have to create a design. And let's assume the front end team is very fast and you have four people in your front end team and all four of them came up with different designs to show you. And these, when it reflects in Git, these are the different branches of the same code file that you already created. So these four can work on their own and can coexist in your code repository. And these four people shown you. And since you are a GitHub lover, they made something with GitHub inspired slot machine. And they made something like ancient, bronze age, futuristic, and plain GitHub style logos. And since you highly respect the brand guidelines, you want to be like, okay, I just want to use the main images, not the AI generated images, and let me take the first version of it. And you take it and you be like, okay, let me place it in the designated area, which is basically pushing the changes. And after 2 days, your backend person comes up and be like, boss, my backend code is ready and this is how it works and it is working successfully. Shall I commit? And you will be like, oh, sure, go ahead. And you want to merge it with the central branch. And that is how merging works. But what if we get a merge issue, like merge conflict? So a merge conflict occurs when the system changes are not synced across it or it is not following the rules and guidelines that has been set up when it comes to merging. And in your case, what happened is uh, the backend person pulled the changes beforehand, even before the front end people made the submitted the design and pushed it to the central repository. And now, since he is trying to push it there, the dates are not matching and the code is having small issues when it comes to the timeline of it. So, in such cases, merge conflicts may occur if the files that are being affected. And not only that, but if you have some strict rules in your repository or code file, it can also occur in such cases, and you have to resolve it using merge conflict uh, methods. Which one of them is rebase, which is generally rebases everything. And imagine you are successful in making the Git understand that this change is acceptable, and this is how you have to approach the merge if there is a conflict, and it successfully gets merged, and that is how you merge it. And these things are done by pull requests and merging it. So pull request is something that will be done when uh, you are pulling the change into something else. And merge will be done if the pull request is like appropriate and accepted. And merge conflict and merging happens in this scenario, and this is the process for it. Okay, now since we already deployed it and the backend is working fine and the front end is working fine, we will like, okay, let me place it in my casino and everyone can come and try the slot machine and may even win GitHub credits or subscriptions. Okay, what's next? I wanted to cover this concept before, but since I wanted to make it a story, I didn't. So there are three states Git or any version control system in general, not always, but in Git there are three stages. One is modified, one is stages, and one is committed. What is modified? So the scenarios where you are modifying a file, like let's say a plus b equal to 10 or something like that, you will be modifying it. And once you be like, okay, this change looks appropriate to me, you be like, okay, let me commit this file. In our scenario, let's say you have solved the first wheel as a single file and second wheel as a different file. And once you are done with building the first wheel, you go to next wheel. And once you think one file is good, then you will make it a stages change and keep on continuing till all the stages are done. And then you want to save your work so that you won't by mistake lose the access, and it will be staying in the repository as like committed. So in that stage is called file committed. So once again, let's discuss this. Working copy is a different version from the committed version, which you will be temporarily working with. And a snapshot of that file will be staged for the next commit. And once you think these are the final changes in that commit, you do a commit by a commit message, and it will be saved as a snapshot safely in the project's database. And once you think multiple commits have been done and this is the good version that we can review, then we'll submit a pull request. And then the reviewer, which is a product manager in your case, will review, and if they feel this is good, then they will merge it with the central repository. And sometimes merge conflicts may occur, and sometimes any other issues can be occurred, and it will be dealt. Listening to this, and all the best with your Git journey. Let's Git Spin Go. Thank you once again.